tricked you. I tricked you into believing there was going to be a second reenactment, and I'm sorry. Let's talk about the first one, though. I get a lot of requests, or got a lot of requests, of people asking, are you going to do the second one? You should do the second one. When are you going to do the second one? And I'm going to answer it right here, right now. I'm not interested. I don't want to do it. That's it. I have one main excuse. It's not that I'm 25. It's just I have zero interest in doing this certain thing right now. Or at least I haven't had any interest in doing this thing in a very long time. And even if I wanted to, I just can't. And I'll explain why later on, but if you stick around, you'll know why. Just saying. So, here's how I'm gonna do this. I know generally this year, April Fool's has been cancelled because of circumstances at the time of filming. We're on lockdown. What you're hearing right now outside is the sirens telling us that curfew has begun and we can't leave our houses for the rest of the day. And while, this is technically an April Fool's prank, I'd like to believe this as, I know I'm going to sound pretentious saying this, but I like to believe this as an act of benevolent chicanery. Now, chicanery is used generally in law, but it comes from the word betrayal, so I guess I'm going to make a count. So, for that one nut that wants to do the Fesh Pince 2 reenactment, go nuts. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to endorse it. I will give you my seal of approval. So, here before you will be the blueprint to the second one. The first reenactment and the second one, how I did them. Because if there's anything I'm going to do is give the good word about how I did it. The time is mid-2011. Mid-2011 was a very good time for YouTube. I think you ask anybody, they'll tell you that it was a great time. And one of the things that was really great was YouTube poops. People would make a shit ton of them and not worry too much about copyright. Because I think at that point copyright was a bit more lenient and things weren't bought out to Google. And it was a good time. It's a good time. One of the interesting things that was happening was a guy called Radical Faith 360 was making YouTube poop reenactments. And those were exactly the kind of content I wanted to make. Because I love quoting and memorizing YouTube poops right off the top of my head. I do it for fun, so why not make content out of it? And that made my subscriber count jump from, I think, 40 to 100 in a month. And that, to me, was a great signifier of, this is it. I'm going to just do this for the time being. Because while I was at a good age to do things, I was young enough not to care. Then December rolled around. Fesh Pince of Blair. Kroboproductions is, at the time, his opus. 20 minutes long. No one ever saw a YouTube poop. Well, did anybody see a YouTube poop that long? I think CJ Flow did do a 38-minute YouTube poop called The Flesh Pinch of Ball Hair, but I don't remember when it came out when. No. CJ Flow's came out in 2014, I think. Can't remember. Time just runs by you really, really quickly. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. Back to Fesh Pince. That comes out. That I slate to be my next project. I'm really happy with the idea of doing it. So Here is how I did it. While yes, I did I did just plop my camera on my shelf, which is now relocated elsewhere in my room. You can't see my room. You can only see a corner, which is my bed now. It used to be poking out of the center of my wall that's by my door behind this camera. You can't see it, but that's where it is. And the camera was a Coolpix L110. I had it replaced about a month later because my insurance still covered its flash burnout, and that was understandable. I was sad that I couldn't take pictures with it with flash. I burnt out the flash completely. So, about a couple of months later, that replacement camera, the L120, just a newer model, that got stolen. So I was with no camera. And then a couple of months after, my hard drive died. So I lost even the original raw footage of the Fesh Pince of Blair, the Re-enactment. Yeah, that bad. So, aside from the main takes I did, let me break it down. There was going to be just one long take, 20 minutes. But I looked at the second half and I wasn't happy. So I went and re-recorded the second half and the second half only the next day with a different t-shirt. And before that, a few days before that, I filmed the big Carlton dance, that the original version of the Carlton dance, not the YouTube pooped version of Carlton dancing to Tom Jones Is Not Unusual, and took that footage and did whatever Kroboproductions did it with the limited ability of Sony Vegas 5 or 10? I can't remember which version I had. But it was an earlier version of Sony Vegas that I was exclusively using to edit my videos at the time. And that was how I edited them, was on Sony Vegas. I used that clip and put it over the Brony Electronica song that was used in there. Wow, 2011 and 2012 were a sentence and a half right there. You know what I mean? Better times, of course, but don't take me back to them. I kind of like the state of mind I am in right now. Please, no thanks. So I filmed those, and before that even, yeah, there's more. The interim, the "You Swindled Me" line, were shot in my dad's old pad in Beirut. So, by that technicality, I liked those clips enough to include them. That's why I put them in. By that technicality, this was the first ever YouTube poop reenactment at the time to be shot in 2 different countries. So there you have it. God, can you imagine? That'd be pretty funny. I mean, the only way I could technically make another YouTube poop that would be shot in 3 different countries is an hour-long collab on a plane flying over countries with small borders. That's the only way I could do it. But I won't. I put them in, and of course, those little breaks mainly made the thing a little bit easier for people to consume, I guess, and now it's my most viewed video on YouTube. I know. Pretty freaky. So I upload the thing. Initially, here's what was happening. The video was going to be 2 separate parts because my copyright indicated that I could not upload videos longer than 15 minutes at the time. But then, shit, no joke, a few days later, YouTube were like, you know what? It's fine. No need. Anybody can upload as much as they want, however many copyright infringements they have. It's cool. So the current version you see right now is the full thing. To this day, not only do I have no idea why it's 2 minutes shorter than the original one, but I haven't seen it. I haven't rewatched it since it first came out. I know. Here's how I would have done Fesh Pince 2. Now, there's a big thing. There's a very big thing in the YouTube poop that stands out. Not that it's way funnier. That's a given. But that there are segments that technically take place 3 years apart. 3 years later, 3 years later. So by that technicality, if I were to have started making that YouTube poop when I first started the video, or when that video first came out, it would have been released in 2032 or 2035. I can't remember exactly how many years it takes place in. I can't remember whether it's 21 or 18, but whatever. Initially, I did want to do within TVs and TVs and TVs and TVs, but I did want to flex the long takes in there as well. And of course, at the time, I was in film school, so I would have been going completely ape. So if I were to be still doing it right now, the footage that would have been shot would have taken place in my dorm in Shoreditch, my house in South London that I was sharing with one person and my girlfriend, who I met right around the time Fesh Pince 2 came out, and she still has not seen it out of respect. Her sister has. She loves it. So, Kim, thanks a lot. And here, I would have filmed it here as well. Would have technically been full circle, but wasn't really interested. Still am not, by the way. There was an inkling in my mind thinking, oh, what if you did go through with it? Still don't want to, really. And then a while later, I think about a few days ago, I saw a comment that really did hit the final nail in the coffin on my decision of whether I want to keep it up or not. And it was this comment on one of my more recent videos. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm sorry I haven't put up the new episodes. I've just been quarantining, self-isolating mindset. I'm not sick or anything, but this whole thing has just brought my mood down so much. And Animal Crossing New Horizons came out, so that should give you a good idea of my mindset at the time, right now, when I filmed this. The comment said something like, I really find it absurd that I've been following you for so long. I'm glad you kept it up because it gives me good memories. And that for me, was enough conviction for me to keep it up. So, for anybody thinking, why hasn't he taken it down? That's why. And people ask me, do people know do your friends in real life know about this? And my answer has always been, yeah, 100%. If they find out on my YouTube channel, they find out on my YouTube channel. I don't really mind that they find it. It's cool. The internet is one of those places where you can't really delete anything and things just stay up and essentially forever. So that's why I'm not taking it down either. What happens on the internet stays on the internet. And while I am not a fan of what I did, in that sense, I'm really proud of what I did. You think for a minute, oh, he doesn't want you to see this because he's ashamed of it. Well, the truth is even if you try to blackmail me for it, it doesn't really work because I really like that video a lot. Oh. So, I think I've covered everything. Interestingly enough, I would go full Boyhood on this thing, if only because Boyhood came out the same year and I wanted to try that myself. But it wasn't out of a lack of trying that I didn't want to do this, but it was out of a lack of interest that I don't want to do this. So for anybody who wants to do it, and you have already started and are following these instructions for the foreseeable future, that's great. That's cool. If we do find out that the world does have a time limit already, feel free to upload it sooner than later. And with that, I'm gonna play out this video just so I can play some Animal Crossing, because I really love this game. Oh no, I turned off the TV.